It is your weekend, and I hope that you really, really do the things you want with it. Here's why. Hey, you! How's it going? How are you? It's AD Roundtree. Welcome to this, your Friday edition of the show. Yeah, Friday, my friend. Excellent job. You did it. You made it through yet another week. Your weekend is upon you, and you have earned this one. Because every single day you work so hard, you grind away, you give the best that you are for the people that matter the most. And not only that, you do so much that keeps our little part of the world turning here. And I want to say thank you to you for everything that you do. If there's anything I can do for you, if you need something, if you need to talk, if there's anything I can do for you to make your Friday better, hit me up. I am here with you. I am here for you. At ADSXE. It's where you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at ADSXE. Put it in your phone now in case you need it later. So, I guess I should, if I'm getting organized about this podcasting stuff that I'm doing since I became unemployed a month or so ago, I should probably start doing these things earlier in the day. Or maybe do them the night before so you can listen to them first thing in the morning. I don't know if you listen on your way in or on your way home or maybe while you're at work, but I want you to be able to hear this message on a Friday. And if you're already home, if you're already in your weekend, if you're not listening, if you don't get a chance to listen over the weekend, you're going to miss it. And this is important stuff because I mean it. I want you to have an excellent weekend because you have earned it. Not just this week, but over the course of your lifetime. And I think you, me, all of us, we can lose sight of just how important the weekend can be. And it's not necessarily that Friday and Saturday and Sunday are any more important than any other day of the week, but it's during these days that you stand the best chance of doing something nice for yourself, doing something that you really want to do. And that's what your weekend should be. That's what your time off, whenever that time off is, should be. If you have a night off, if you have a day off, that isn't necessarily part of your weekend. If you take a lunch break, I hope you're really taking that lunch break. I think I'm in touch with the reality of our mortality more now than I've ever been before. Why? Well, if you've been listening along to the podcast, you know I started this podcast by my father's hospital bed as he slept in Kosovo. Back before Thanksgiving, my father had a medical emergency. He's been living in Kosovo for several years, and I rushed to look after him and bring him back to America. A trip that was supposed to take 3 days. It did not take 3 days. My father did not bounce back the way the doctors said he would. I was not able to get him on a plane 3 days later. He wasn't fit to fly for nearly a month and a half, and, well, I got to be honest with you. It's great to have him home. It's great to have him near family. It's great that his sister's going to be able to visit with him this weekend. It's great to have the support of my family as I look after him, as opposed to being half a world away. But my dad, he's not doing awesome. We got some difficult weeks and days in front of us with some difficult decisions along the way. The doctors kept saying, you know what? Things are going to turn around. As soon as X, Y, and Z heal up, well, he's going to be significantly better. Just you wait and see. I had this one especially reassuring doctor, his heart doctor, Dr. Sasha, who actually treated him in both Kosovo and Macedonia, who kept saying to me over and over again, don't you worry. And it was reassuring. And you know what? The things that were supposed to improve, X, Y, and Z, did improve. But all of a sudden, all these other problems came along, and he's not doing awesome. I got to be honest with you. We're trying to figure out the next steps of his journey and trying to figure out what that's going to look like. And it's fragile. It's really fragile. You, me, all of us, we all intellectually know that we could meet our end at any second now. It could be, watch out for that bus. What bus? We don't know. But that reality comes crashing down when the people that are close to you have a brush with their own mortality, their own good hard look at the end of the time on this earth. And you You don't know how much time you've got left. None of us do. But one thing I can tell you for sure is that one day it will run out. And look, I think for as long as I can remember, I felt like I've just been hanging on. I felt like I was on a treadmill. I was, and I'm sure I still am in some way, shape, or form, a workaholic. I love what I do. I was on your radio for 17 years straight. For the first 7 or 8 years of that, I worked 365 days of the year. I didn't think of days off anymore. I didn't think of weeks off. I thought of an afternoon off, an evening off. I was on the air on some radio station, whether it was back in the day on Sirius XM or one of the many iHeart radio stations that I've been on for years. I was on some radio station every day of the week. And there's nothing wrong with that. I loved it. I loved it. But at some point, I did start to get a little bit burnt out. And it was one of those things where, look, I started from zero. The way you get above zero is by saying yes to everything, giving it 100%. And that's what I did. And I love that. And if I look back on how I've led my life, I would do it all over again. But there comes a time where you start to think, it would be nice to take some time for myself. It would be nice to be able to really kind of unplug. And that's sort of where we're at in 2022, I think. It's very difficult to unplug. It's very difficult to really take your time, whether that's that 5-minute coffee break, a lunch break, a weekend, or a week off. We have these digital devices that became fixed to our person about 15 years ago. We are permanently connected and we are permanently reachable. And even when no one's trying to get a hold of us to tell us that the world's ending and we got to do something professionally, we're constantly checking. We're never really free, I don't think, anymore. At least we're not unless we work at it. This is why I love being in a swimming pool. And I know, the vast majority of phones are waterproof now and people take them in the pool with them. But I love the idea of being in a situation where nobody could get in touch with me. And I had a really good excuse. It's Saturday. I was in the pool. I was in the pool. Popular excuse for other problems I might experience in life. But here's the thing. You are into your weekend. And I think that, well, as you try and figure out how you want the rest of your year to go, as you try and figure out what it is that's going to get you where you want to be in 2022, as you might be still in the tail end of setting goals, making resolutions, all of the above for this new year we're in, I think you should make a decision that when you take time off, whether it is that 5-minute coffee break or a 2-week vacation, you should really, really try and take that time off. As I say that, I realize how ridiculous it is for a lot of people. If I'm taking a 2-week vacation, I got to check work email a couple times. Maybe you do. But when you're not, really be in that moment. Really live your life. Do the things you want to do. Do the things that are going to make you happy. That might be time with your boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife. That might be time by yourself. That might be walking through the woods. That might be sitting on the couch watching crap TV for 48 hours at a time. Do it. Take that time that makes you happy. Do the things that matter to you. Whether they're worthless to the rest of the world or big and weighty to the rest of the world. Whether you're volunteering in a foreign country, working with underprivileged kids, or whether you're just sitting on the couch watching reruns of something that you don't really need to be watching. Whatever it is you're doing, really, really do it. Life is short. And so many minutes of our time on this earth are accounted for. And it's one of those things that I realized when I stopped working. I never realized what a treadmill I was on until I stepped off for a minute. I mean, part of the reason why I decided to make a change was being around my father, being around family, and going, I need more time. I need more time available to be with the people that matter to me. And if I sign up for more of this, I'm not going to get that. And I'm never going to get some of this time back. And I look at my father and I look how much my father worked. People talk about that work-life balance. I don't think you ever really get that work-life balance. There's got to be times where you do, times where you don't. I got to tell you, I've been unemployed for, I don't know, a while now, over a month. And I still find things to fill my day. But I have to tell you, I really enjoy it. Not the being unemployed, not the clutching sense of uncertainty about what happens in the future, but the time where I wake up and I go, I'm going to make my to-do list the way I always do because I got things I need to get done, but I don't have anyone breathing down my neck. I don't have anyone that's going to wonder when this is showing up. I don't have a deadline I have to hit. I don't have that fear in the pit of my stomach that I dropped the ball and forgot something that I've been living with for the past 17 years. Eventually, I'll get back on some sort of treadmill. I'll get back on some sort of work-related roller coaster and I will throw myself into it 200,000,000%. It's not a real number, but you get my point. At some point, I will wind up working again, and I'm going to do what I always do. I'm going to work as hard as humanly possible. I'm fortunate to have wound up in a field that I really love. I really love the time that you and I spend together. I love keeping you company when you need it. I love the fact that maybe I can brighten your day. Maybe I can take something like your commute, which you dread, and make it something that you look forward to. The time that you and I spend together, it really always has been the very best part of my day, and I hope to be doing that again, and I'm going to go into that full force. I will be all in when I am back in the workplace. But this has changed me a little bit. Not just the whole, I'm unemployed, I got nothing to do. Parts of that are kind of nice. But also having that brush with human mortality, my father's mortality. Having conversations with a guy who might have been coming to the end of his time on this earth. Having talked to him before everything went wrong and hearing him talk about the things that he wanted to do that he hadn't given himself a chance to do during his lifetime of working. These are the moments that you don't get back. And I know, it's a cliche. You don't want to be the richest man in the graveyard. No one's gonna speak at your funeral about the amount of overtime you did. But these are moments that you won't get back. Time with yourself. Time with the people that you love. Time with your children. And like I said, that idea of life-work balance, I don't know if that really exists. I do think it's interesting that in other countries, I think it's France. I don't know how many other countries have done this, but I do know it is illegal for bosses to email their employees after a certain hour. And this is so people are not constantly checking their phones and constantly feeling like they might be getting in trouble for not doing the right thing or dropping the ball or forgetting something. This is so when people are done with work, they can be done with work and live their life with their family or with themselves, doing the things that they want to do. I don't know how many countries do that, but it sounds like probably not that bad of an idea. Because you, me, all of us, we are in some way, shape, or form on some sort of a treadmill. And the time that we are not working, it's complicated and difficult enough. You hear me say, spend time with your family. You might be like, oh, I'd rather be working. Family's difficult. And that's got to be true. And that's why you should give it your full attention. I think a lot of the time that's why family becomes difficult. Because of our inability to really give it the focus we need to give it. Maybe I'm just talking from personal experience. Maybe you can relate to this a little bit too. But I do know that, well, like I said, these are moments that we are not getting back. I remember when I was first starting out in radio was when the smartphone was coming in. And slowly but surely, everybody went from having those flip phones to being able to check their email on their phones. And I saw it. I saw that level of access that all of a sudden your job had to you. And I saw it going from people being like, oh, I can answer work emails, to why didn't you answer that work email? And I remember drawing a line in the sand. It's so funny because everybody who knows me knows that I've always been an appreciator of tech. I've always been first to the party with new gadgets and new toys and new devices, especially when I was in the world of music, especially when digital music started going digital. And I was sort of one of the first people that took an Atari computer and started sampling with an S1000 sampler on it that I knew. If you have any experience in music production, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It was a brave new world, and I was leading the charge on it. But I resisted the cell phone. I resisted the smartphone. And I remember telling myself why. People would be like, hey, did you get that email? No, I didn't. Well, why not? I'm out. If you really need to get a hold of me, you can just call me. Maybe you can text me. These were still the days of T9. When you would try and text your girlfriend or your wife, I love you, baby. I'll be home soon. And instead you wind up texting, a light bulb, Bobby. Blah, blah, blah. But I resisted that last level of accessibility to me up until the very final point. I remember I was the last person I knew to give up my flip phone, and nobody could believe it. But people would be like, hey, didn't you get that email? No, I did not. Well, why not? I'm out. Well, don't you check email when you're out? No. Don't have a smartphone. How about that? And that came to an end eventually. It was inevitable. But I think it was a smart thing to do. A smart thing to create some barriers. And it's tough. Your phone lights up, you pick it up. It could be anything. It could be super happy, awesome, fun time. You could have just gotten a coupon for a free pizza, and you could be right by that pizza place, and you got to go there now and eat delicious pizza for zip zing nada. Or it could be a notification from work. I really shouldn't look at that on the weekend. But what if the world's ending? No, it was just my boss taking the initiative. I know it doesn't really matter if I look at that until Monday, but if I don't respond now, oh man, I'm going to feel like a slacker. They probably got the red receipt. They know I've seen it. They know it's Saturday. They know how long it's going to take me to reply. I want to be employed. I've got to keep those benefits. I've got to, And all of a sudden, you're sucked into mentally not really enjoying your weekend the way you should be. You might even get sucked into working on the weekend the way your boss did, because they feel exactly the same way. And I'm not naive enough to think that we can all put our smartphones down, walk away, and completely unplug. It would be a great thing. But for many of us, it's not realistic. For some of us, it's just not possible. So what I would encourage you, if you can't unplug fully when you are doing the things that you want to do, really do them. Really be there. Really be present for them. Because these moments during the weekend, or whatever breaks you're allowed to give yourself, these are the moments where we will make the memories that last for the rest of our lives. These are the moments that we will not get back at the end of it. And so for that reason, I hope that you have a great weekend. Thank you so much for hanging out. Thank you for being a part of my radio family. As always, this time that you and I spend together, it's the best part of my day. I'll be back on Monday. We'll do it all over again. From the bottom of my heart, have a great one. Later.